Never loan anyone any money for any reason. Now, look, I know it's common knowledge not to loan people money, not to loan money to family and friends. But why do people still do it? Probably 20% of court TV is dedicated to people who loan money and they couldn't get it back. So why do people insist on continuing to do this even though they know better? Well, very simply, it's because it's part of our natural desire to help out friends and support our family. We want to be good people. We want to support and reinforce our relationships. And this makes it very easy for less than honest people to take advantage of us and exploit our good nature. There's an old saying when it comes to banks, and that is that banks will only loan money to people who don't really need it. Or the other way it's typically phrased is banks will loan you an umbrella on a sunny day and then ask for it back when it starts to rain. So why do banks take this position? Well, it's because they intend on getting paid back. You're not going to be in business that long if you keep loaning out money and you never get paid back. And what do they do when they offer a loan? Well, they're going to check your income, your outstanding debt, your credit score, your obligations, cash flow, collateral. They're going to figure out how to ensure that they are going to get repaid on this loan. And then they will draw up a legal binding contract with the terms of that loan and the repayment terms, as well as outlining any consequences for late payments or missed payments. Understand how a bank works. Do you honestly think that you're going to loan money to someone who's coming to you rather than their own family or a proper lending institution? And you think you're going to get your money back? You're telling me that this person has no other access to money. They can't take it out of their savings account. They can't take a loan against assets, a cash advance from their credit card. Their parents and grandparents won't give them any money. Their boss won't allow them an advance against their paycheck. They can't even go to the pawn shop and get a cash loan or sell something to raise money. And you think that you're going to get paid back. Really? Why? Because they said so? Why? Because you're such good friends? Because blood's thicker than water? These people play on our natural desire to help those around us. But understand that if they are coming to you for money, that should tell you that they've exhausted all other resources and avenues. And because of that, the probability that they're going to pay you back is very low. Anyone who cannot access money through traditional channels is definitely not credit-worthy and a bad risk. They're going to pull on your heartstrings and break you down. And so you will go against your better judgment and loan them the money. Then you're going to spend the next several months chasing them around, listening to endless excuses. They may even accuse you of harassing them and bothering them. They'll try to put you off by changing the terms or even sweetening the deal. But 50% more of nothing is still nothing. So you're not going to get paid back. They're just buying time and putting you off, hoping that you get frustrated and go away. The borrower may even involve other people, especially when you're talking about friends and family. They're going to tell people how unreasonable you are by continuing to ask for the money. They will play on people's emotions, hoping that they'll talk to you and guilt you into leaving them alone. They may claim that they already paid you back because they did you some favor or bought you a dinner, which wasn't part of the agreement. They'll duck you, avoid you, put you off at every chance they get. And you'll chase them around to the ends of the earth, but you're still not going to get your money back. You may even go nuts just watching them spend money on everything under the sun. Little weekend trips, a new present for their new lover, a car, fancy dinners, tickets to a concert or an event. But they're never going to have any money to pay you back. I lost a friend once of about 10 years to this. And again, I'm using the term friend loosely because a real friend would have been good at their word. I loaned this person money over time. This was the kind of guy that always needed $5. He would wait until you were standing at the counter for a pizza that you ordered, and then he would tell you, "Oh, hey, could I borrow $5? Oh, I didn't get paid." But he never had any money to pay me back. Sure, he had money for a drum set, a new guitar, taking girls on dates. He even had money for front row, center stage tickets to the Van Halen concert when Van Halen was the biggest show in town. But all he had for me was excuses. Now, some people are going to nickel and dime you over time, like this individual, $5 or $10 here, $5 or $10 there. And there's other people that are going to go in for the big hit all at once. But either way, it's going to play out exactly the same. I can't tell you how many episodes of Judge Judy I've seen where loans suddenly become gifts. And then it's one person's word against the other. And of course, you're thinking, well, this is a friend or a family member, so I don't need to use a contract and collateral as a bank would. You know, they're good at their word. I mean, we're family. We've got a lot of connections. They're not going anywhere. And guess what? Now you don't have any proof that this transaction even took place. It's your word against theirs. I've seen this happen even with my parents and other family members. This is not an uncommon theme. There was a situation that I was actually involved in college where my neighbor, who I was friendly with, but I was not friends with him, he came to me one day in an emergency, in a panic, and he begged me and pleaded, could you please come down to the Firestone auto shop to help me get my car out? My car broke down. It's an emergency. I need to get it repaired. I don't have the money, but I will get it right to you. And I thought, well, if you can help somebody out, and we were friendly, you should always try to do that. And so I went down there and paid for his car. It was $583. The fact that I remember that number 30 years later tells you that it really bothered me. And then it soon became clear that he wasn't going to pay me. And I thought, well, he lives next door, so I'll see him all the time. He's not going anywhere. Until he decided to move out and then move back at home with his parents. And so I went through all the proper channels. I was writing him letters and emails and saying, hey, I really need that money back. I even got him to send me a letter back stating that he did in fact owe me the money, what he owed it for, and that he was intending on paying me back. But he never did. So eventually, because he was living 150 miles away, I tried to go through normal legal channels, and I took him to small claims court. So I showed up to court in a suit and tie. I had all the paperwork. I had proof that I had the bill from the mechanic showing his car, his license plate, his VIN number, and then my credit card number paying for the entire thing. Again, I also had the letter of him stating that he did owe me this money and he was going to pay me back. Well, the small claims court didn't do much to help out because this person walked in and he said, oh, yeah, I did write that letter. And yeah, I did intend on paying him back. But you see, I was actually tutoring him. And so he racked up a very large tutoring bill. And then we negotiated together that if he paid for my car, then I would forgive his tutoring debt. He never tutored me in anything. But again, without any paperwork, without anything, it was just his word against mine. I know I had that letter, but he had an explanation for that letter. So don't put yourself in that position. It's just not worth it. Now, if you must, if you insist, if you've gotten this far in the video and you still say, no, I need to loan this person money, that's what my family does, that's what I do as a good person. If you can't say no, then at least treat this loan exactly as a bank would. Everything needs to be documented, signed, and initialed. And if it's a large sum of money, I would even go through a law firm to make sure that the terms are legal and binding. Number one, I would be getting a written contract stating the nature of the loan, the terms, the repayment schedule, any penalties for later non-payment. I would have each point initialed and signed and witnessed. I would keep the original and provide them with a copy in the event that you need to take this matter to court down the road. Number two, always take collateral worth at least twice the value of the loan. Not the retail price of what they paid for this stuff, but what you could realistically get if you were forced to liquidate it and sell that collateral to cover the loan. Have it expressly written in your contract that at the maturity of this loan, if it has not been repaid in full, they forfeit the collateral entirely. They don't get part of the collateral back for paying part of the loan. They forfeit the entire collateral. And number three, understand that should you need to enforce this contract, sell their collateral, take them to small claims court, or anything else, it will likely cost you the relationship. You can follow the contract to the letter and you will be branded as unfair, ruthless, lacking empathy or understanding, that you treated them in a cold and non-sympathetic way, an unsympathetic way. After all, you are family or a good friend. And with zero introspection, that a good friend wouldn't have put you in a position to have to enforce the consequences of the contract, which you both agreed to. And then they didn't hold up their end, which forced you to exercise the terms of that contract. My advice, save yourself the headaches and your relationship by not loaning money for any reason. It's just not worth the drama or the hassle. It's not worth the relationships that it is going to cost you. You shouldn't have to pay such a heavy price for trying to help someone out. So again, if you like the content, you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe. If you've gotten the short end of the stick trying to help somebody out with a loan, tell us about it in the comments section. We need to get a discussion going because, as I said, this is common knowledge not to loan money to family or friends. And yet people continue to do this, and I can't understand why. Learn from the mistakes of others and don't loan money. We have institutions that do this. Banks, credit cards, loan stores, you name it. Don't get involved, because if someone is coming to you for money, the probability that they're going to pay you back is extremely low. And the price that you will pay will be your relationship and maybe even your good name. So until next time, thank you for joining me and have a great day.